yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo.
You're like poetry, the crazy whirlwinds blows dust from the corners of my mind. Been long since last touched for the first time. Thought I was crazy until I reached out and saw your hand there waiting for mine. Like the stars had all aligned. And I breathe your aura, cannot leave your aura. You have me like gravity. You don't have to try it, it's just like a magnet. You have me like gravity. You have me like gravity. You just like it's just like a magnet. Feel your energy when our eyes touch, so familiar deep inside, like you were already mine. Surreal to me how you make me feel wild and calm at the same time. Never felt so alive. Thought I was crazy until I reached out and saw your hand there waiting for mine. Like the stars had all aligned. I lay beside today, tonight. Your vibe, desire, our eyes on fire. And I breathe your aura, cannot leave your aura. You have me like gravity. You don't have to try it, it's just like a magnet. You have me like gravity. You have me like gravity. You just like it's like it's just like a magnet.
It's just Hello, welcome everybody to Best of 3 versus BB Clocks and Akuma Blades. I've not done the appropriate setting up of this stream, as you can see, and that I accidentally forgotten my duties. So I'm gonna fix up some stuff here while we start to watch the bands here. We do see the first band coming out from the side of Akuma Blades being the Aatrox, as well as Camille and Xerath on the other side of BB Clocks. Zinjao being taken off the table as well. We're gonna slide this picture up here and do that. And I'm not gonna adjust anything else because I don't have the time. We're gonna keep it just as is. But otherwise, Alistar band, being taken off the table. We saw both Thereby also and Jerosa having both their separate individual games of Alistars where they were each able to perform very well in the champion. And Lucian, a very highly contested AD carry, taken off the board for both teams. We're actually going to see the first pick going to be, Victor, the side of BB Clocks. We'll have to see. I can only assume that's going to be for Licenseless Rider on mid lane, but some people have been known to take it in the top lane, so maybe for Lee Saitama, maybe for even Deep Focus there in the bot lane, with the popularity of mages in the bot lane coming to be more and more common in a lot of games. Akuma Blades are going to be answering with the Galio and the Rakan. Rakan is probably maybe not something we want to see on this patch, considering the most recent buff, or excuse me, the most recent nerf of his W speed was drastically slowed down. I could say that you have plenty of time. If you do see Rakan coming at you with his W, you can probably, do your chores real quick, grab a drink and sit down and still have the time to avoid it. But nonetheless, we do see Caitlyn Morgana being the chosen bot lane for Deep Focus, and thereby also for the BB Clocks bot lane. Very safe, very good utility bot lane. Obviously, having Morgana land the bind does allow Caitlyn to put her traps right under, get a good amount of damage off, but a great answer to it being Sivir. Sivir can just eat up those Caitlyn traps, eat those Morgana binds, and get rewarded with it with mana. So I like to see that pick come out. It's a very well thought out counter pick there, so it's very nice to see. So we do see Rakan, Sivir, both of them. I'd say they have decent synergy together. Having the movement speed from Sivir to speed up the Rakan to help him get in there to fully engage with his team. Galio coming in there with the ult as well may give Rakan a little bit of survivability that he does need to get in there deep in these fights. You see Sejuani being taken off the table. Just again a pick that seems to almost insta-win a lot of these games. And Jarvan the Fourth also being taken away. So we do see both bot lanes finish. I can almost assume that those are both mid laners finished, but again, wouldn't be uncommon to see Victor elsewhere. I think it's pretty safe to say that Galio is probably going to the mid lane. It's not very popular to see him flex anywhere else, or at least in his current state. So we'll see the last band coming out from Akuma Blades is going to be the Gragas. Taking a look at your only chance there. Predator Gragas can really take over a game. And Zac as well. So a lot of these tanky frontline engaged champions are being taken away by both teams. Excuse me. Lee Sin is maybe being hovered, as well as Kindred. So I'd say both are very aggressive picks for jungle. Jungle right now, I think, is very much a state of who can apply the most early game presence as possible. And maybe their Akuma Blades is looking to see if they can find a very heavy dive comp. Nocturne, Galio, Sivir, Rakan, all these champions are looking to have a go button, just say, let's go in, go as far as we can, and see who we can pick off there. Whoever's trying to cower back in the back lines are trying to kite front to back, try to punish that a little bit. So we'll see what the last two picks coming out from BB Clocks are to answer that. We do see a Rammus picked up for your only chance. And we'll see what the last pick there might be for what may look like top lane. We do still see the top lane pick being hidden from Akuma Blades. And we're seeing a little bit of a Poppy hover here, and that's going to be a lock-in. So we got the Poppy top with the Rammus in the jungle, Victor midline for Licenseless Rider, and Caitlyn Morgana in the bot lane of BB Clocks. While we await the last pick for the side of Akuma Blades. I think you can really just about pick anything here in the top lane with Poppy, as long as it's not something that's really heavily relying on gap closers and whatnot. Something like Riven may not be the best thing to pick in it, or into it, I should say, excuse me. But we do see Vlad picked up, so we're seeing the engage. I don't want to say like tank utility, because Galio is more a damage dealer than anything else, especially nowadays. But we are seeing the 2 AP sources coming out from the solo lanes. Vlad is going to be a lot more of that just pure damage, nothing else but damage, damage, damage. Having Galio for the ultimate that can go into the Nocturne. Obviously, Flash Taunt is one of the best ways of engage, followed up by the knockup from his E, and the massive amount of damage that can come out from his W and his auto attack. But otherwise, I want to say I more like the composition of BB Clocks. I think that they have a little bit to answer this heavy dive composition that Akuma Blades is trying to pull off. They do have the Poppy W, they do have the Rammus Taunt. Victor Gravity Field is also something that they may have to worry about. It's nice for Nocturne and Sivir to both have spell shields to negate them, but looks like the game isn't going to exactly go through. I'm not sure if the jungler of Akuma Blades was able to select Smite or not. I was wondering if he was going to do that. So we're gonna swap over to this real quick. Actually, while I have the chance, I'm gonna edit this real quick. So we're gonna slide my picture over. I'm gonna slide this over here. Very nice. And over on the other side, I actually cannot put the cookie overlay. Over on this other side, I would more than likely have the commands for cookies and how they work and whatnot, but they actually do not work on this channel because we do have the primary sugar-free league channel. There's nothing set up over here. The second channel is neglected, and they didn't give me the cookie system to work with, so I'm so sorry that you're gonna have to deal with not having cookies. I may keep the box over there though, just to keep the entire overlay nice and full. It kind of looks a little awkward when there's nothing over there. So we're waiting for this game to go, and hopefully we're going to see all the same picks. Can you bet on the other channel? I don't think it's set up, but if you really wanted, I could set it up and you could head over to the other stream and bet your cookies. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that because there is a game on the main channel at 10 o'clock. Let me double check what the matchup is specifically. I know it's at 10 o'clock for sure. The schedule looks like it's going to be Friday. It's Free Tyler 1 and Wasted Potential at 10 o'clock on the main stream. So, yeah, I think that'll cause a little bit of a cookie conflict, so we can't really allow that to happen. So we're getting this game back to being created. I'm pretty sure this is all good, right? Yeah, we got BBC and AKM. Got the title all correct, excellent. So, we're going to see all the same bands and all the same picks, so there's really not too much else to talk about. I think there was a little bit of an issue with tag up audio and not able to select Smite, but yeah, we're going to see just random bands. We're going to see if we can get through this as fast as possible. Like I said, the Akuma Blades composition, very heavy dive. I'm really hoping that they do have the team communication to be able to pull it off, because if you're not communicating well in that type of environment where you really need to target select and need to make sure you're taking off the right targets away from BB Clocks, you know, if you're putting all your resources into killing the Poppy and the Rammus, like, yeah, obviously the maybe the backline carries of Akuma Blades are wanting to focus those tanky front lines that are going to be in their face, but you really don't want to expend everything, you know, from the Vladimir, from the Galio and the Nocturne, and all these, again, goons that are going for the carries of BB Clocks. You don't want to waste everything on these two tanks because they can soak up a lot of that damage and pretty much negate a large majority of it. So, like I said, I think BB Clocks' composition is going to be a little bit easier to completely utilize. License this rider, I do very much like watching him on Victor. I think he's going to be able to position well enough. Again, it's really going to depend on how far ahead Akuma Blades can get. Obviously, if a Nocturne starts to get rolling, gets a few early kills, gets 6 before Rammus is able to get, you know, a good ult off in any of the solo lanes or bot lane, they're just going to have to be really cautious of where they are in the lane. They're going to have to manage their waves properly and make sure, you know, they're not overextending if they don't have vision of Nocturne. And, you know, the same is going to go for Rammus. Their only chance whenever we have seen him play Rammus in these SFL games, you know, we have seen him go top, mid, bot, mid, top, bot. You know, he's just constantly ganking, constantly applying that pressure. And even more so on this most recent patch with the recent nerf of jungle experience from the jungle camps, it's giving a lot more incentive for junglers to just pretty much constantly chain gank. So you're not having a lot of incentive to stay in your jungle and just constantly farm your camps off of camp cooldown. So we're going to see, more than likely, both junglers try to apply a lot of that early pressure. Nocturne's early ganks really aren't the best compared to Rammus's. So we might see, hopefully the Nocturne try to be a little more, what would the word be? Reactive would be the word. Reactive to the Rammus ganks instead of proactive and trying to make ganks himself. You're really not going to have a lot of success up there in the top lane unless Poppy is going to be overextending and really just allowing herself to get ganked. Vladimir can't really follow up on a Nocturne gank. You know, it's really hard to get the Nocturne to stick on a target to be able to get his fear off if there's no crowd control to follow it up from. So we're probably going to see him stick around the mid lane to try to abuse the Galio taunt and knockout. We're going to see him maybe try to go bot lane around 6 when both Rakan and Sivir have their ultimates. And Rammus, you know, he could probably go to any of the 3 lanes. Victor, maybe not so much early on. Victor kind of just wants to farm up, play a bit safer throughout the early levels, get his Hex Core and other items that can start to get him rolling. So I can't expect too much pressure for the mid laners. I think if Nocturne is going to gank a lane early, it's probably going to be mid lane and try to abuse Licenseless Rider. If he does overextend, if he does try to get a little aggressive, we do constantly watch him in this, in these mid lanes. Go back and forth and try to play really aggressive with the mid laners and get a lot of damage off early. Even if it is something on Victor where he wants to, you know, slowly ramp up his power and become a late game monster, you know, he's still going to try to get in people's faces, you know, try to walk up, auto Q, whatnot. But, you know, he may decide to opt out of that, knowing that Nocturne may try to look mid, you know, maybe try to let the wave crash under his towers, try to CS as carefully as possible, try to see if Rammus can, you know, respond to any pressure that may be applied to the mid lane. Again, in the bot lane, I would say Caitlyn Morgana is pretty oppressive to just about every lane combination, but it being Sivir, it's really easy for her to, you know, abuse the fact that she's constantly having skill shots thrown out at her. We do see her opting for teleport to the Caitlyn's heal, so, you know, it does make more sense. We're seeing with things like Sivir and Ezreal in the bot lane, where, you know, they're really only farming for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, so there's not really a lot of 2v2s or 3v3s, 2v3s, 3v2s, whatever, going on in the bot lane. They don't really want to do that, you know. For Ezreal, you know, he wants to get his Sheen and Tyr early. For Sivir, he wants to get his, or her, Stormrazor as fast as she can, be able to clear the waves as effectively as possible. In the past, maxing Q on Sivir was probably the way to go, but I think with the current crit chance itemization of AD carry and rushing the Stormrazor, I think it's actually more beneficial to rush or max W first. Having the guaranteed crit off the Stormrazor, if you don't auto attack reset, so you don't just auto and then W, if you just straight up try to W a wave, you're going to get that guaranteed crit off every minion in that wave. So it allows for really, really good wave clear. And with Caitlyn Morgana, they're going to be pushing waves pretty efficiently by themselves, having Caitlyn Q and Morgana puddle. So I really can't imagine Akuma Blaze's bot lane really being able to do much at all in these early phases of the game. They're really just going to be farm bots. Rakan may be able to apply some pressure with his jungler if he starts to walk around with them, or maybe even try to roam up towards mid. But I really just can't see too much coming out of this bot lane. I really don't think it's going to be too exciting. I think if anything's going to happen, it's going to be the 2v2 being the mid laner and jungler. I think that's probably going to be what we're seeing for the first 10 minutes or so. But again, you can't really predict these SFL games. That's half the excitement of them, is the fact that they are so all over the place most of the time. So as we get into the game here, we'll start to lower the music. It's actually perfect timing as the song's just about to end. I perfectly planned that, I hope you know. Otherwise, for the most part, I'm not going to be looking at Twitch chat too much, but if there is something wrong with my audio or if the stream's acting up or anything like that, try to let me know in Twitch chat, and if I'm not paying attention to it, then you can go ahead and let me know in Discord and try to send me a private message. That is the more than likely way to communicate with me. But otherwise, we will be getting into Game 1 of BB Clocks versus Akuma Blaze, this best of 3. Very, very exciting to see. We are seeing, again, looking at all the keystones, just about everything is as normal as you can imagine. Phase Rush Vladimir up in the top lane may not be one of the most popular choices. Or actually, no, I would say it is one of the more popular choices. I know we've seen goodness me. I think that probably would be the most popular one for Vladimir. My game knowledge when it comes to that champion may not be the best, especially in recent metas, but I guess that more than likely would be the way to go. But otherwise, you know, things like Summon Area on Victor, you know, it's completely fine. Aftershock Galio, of course. We do see, with Sivir opting out of her own heal, we do see Rakan going heal and having Spellbook as well. So maybe double teleporting to bot lane and whatnot. Seeing Deep Focus and thereby also Caitlyn Morgana. Again, Fleet Footwork on the Caitlyn's probably the most common thing we're going to see if you're not going to go the Grasp of the Undying, or even seen Lethal Tempo in the rare circumstance, but not going to see it this game. We do see Domination on secondary for Victor, so we're going to only assume. I really wish I could check runes during the game. It would be really awesome, because I really do enjoy seeing, you know, all the different runes that... I need to set this up properly. There we go. I do like seeing all the different runes and whatnot that a lot of different players try to offer, because again, runes for the most part are very... there are the most optimal things, but we do see certain lines in the runes that some people like to take. Obviously, secondary difference on Victor, you might see some go Inspiration and try to opt for the free boots, as well as something like Approach Velocity or Minion Dematerializer Biscuit or whatever, you know, even maybe Futures Market to help them get those early Hex Core upgrades. I can imagine wouldn't be too bad, but getting that extra healing from Domination does allow him to have a little bit more lane sustain, and when it gets later into the game, it actually does make quite a difference. So we're seeing some on-the-way pings of the line of scrimmage from both teams. Awesome to see that they're actually both pinging just about the exact same thing. Again, if anything is up with the stream or anything's a little odd, just feel free to let me know. I think it's probably going to be the best we get for audio. So again, lines of scrimmage, just, you know, nothing too weird. See, Khan can't be seen there, all that different stuff. I really wish there was more to talk about, but there's really not. Still very excited to see how this entire game plays out. It's probably going to be a good best-of-3 series. I really do hope it gets to a Game 3. I do see, otherwise, not too much else going on. No one's going for Greedy Vision. Deep Focus standing outside of that brush is a little brave, I guess, to be able to stand still. You know, if you're alt tabbing, it's a little scary to be standing right there. See, he heard me. He must be ghosting, so he stands inside of the bush. Your only chance, picking up that 120 ward there in the river. Jarosa's not quite going to be able to pick it up, so we do see that vision there in the river. It's going to be good for early Scuttle Crab control. Laners do need to make sure that they do have priority to allow their junglers to secure that neutral objective. Licenseless Rider landing that first Death Ray on Fluke there. Getting some good scorch damage off. I think it is very important for this mid lane Victor to just, again, focus on CS. You know, he doesn't want to use a lot of his mana as he seems to be doing right now. We see Nocturne going for the Krugs. We see Rammus going for the chickens, for the Wraiths. Otherwise, very, very slow game, I will imagine. We do see Fluke actually going for Dark Seal there in the mid lane, the refillable potion as opposed to the Doran's Ring. So maybe he's looking to get some good early assists there if he's able to apply some pressure with his jungler. You know, the extra healing from the Dark Seal also helps the stain early in lane as well. We do see DB Clocks getting level 2 first. Jarosa standing very, very close to Morgana, but it's actually going to end up being Sin of Wrath being rooted up, and Caitlyn Trap. It's going to be a first blood over to Deep Focus on this Caitlyn Morgana, showing how deadly this combination very much is. It is very crucial with this combination to prioritize that level 2 over your opponent there in the bot lane, so it was very well executed by them. They did notice how much stronger they were. Jarosa and Sin of Wrath really did not seem scared that they hit 2 first, so I think it was a little bit of disrespect, and we saw that Jarosa was close to the Morgana bind, and I expected him to get hit, but it ended up being Sin of Wrath taking the hit for his boy. It's going to be the first death over to him. We do see it's already about a 700 gold lead in favor of DB Clocks very early on. We have to keep in mind that Licenseless Rider is looking very low on mana. Fluke having a little bit more than him, but not too far ahead. Meanwhile, thereby also trying to see if he can get up in Audio's face while he takes Scuttle Crab, but Audio's going to be able to smite that away, knowing how important that objective is. Doesn't want it taken by Morgana. Definitely not a way to keep a good mental. Very easily tilted if you're losing such a heavy thing of experience. But here comes your only chance. His first gank there in the mid lane. As anticipated, we do see the Gravity Field landing as well, stunning up Fluke and forcing his flash. So Very good gank there by the Rammus. It's going to be a 5-minute cooldown there for Fluke. They're in the mid lane. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we see thereby also staying in the faces. Akuma Blades having no fear with this Caitlyn Morgana. We do see Sin of Wrath is level 3 though, so he is able to spell shield the Morgana binding, assuming that he has leveled it up. And there we go, he's going to eat it up for some mana there. It's actually going to take a little bit of damage as he walks out as well. Gross landing the Q and applying that extra healing for the Sivir as well. Deep focus, still having not back from his first blood. He's 1-0, having no potions with Dorn Shield and 2 potions on the Sivir, so he's looking very low. Hopefully he's able to push out this lane sooner rather than later. He can go back and get his first buy. Seeing another bind landing on a DeRosa, and the Caitlyn trap isn't going to quite land in time. So he's going to be able to survive there, hitting level 4 before the bot lane BB clocks as well. Having stayed and gotten that solo XP while Sin of Wrath was dead, but he did teleport back to lane, so he didn't miss too much XP. Does have that cooldown, not able for use though, not available for use, I should say. Otherwise, again, nothing too exciting going on. Sin of Wrath eating up that Caitlyn trap, but does need to keep in mind if he's eating the Caitlyn traps with her shield, that does give Morgana full reign to walk up and see if she could find a bind on her. And even though it is a much safer pick with Sivir against Morgana, she needs to remember that Rakan does not have a spell shield of his own. So even though he can kind of play a little bit more aggressively in her face, you know, Gross is going to have to stand a little bit further back unless he's getting some pressure from the Galley or the Nocturne. Otherwise, CS is looking pretty even. We do see a little bit of a lead on the Nocturne with the CS in the jungle there, 32-26. In mid lane, we're seeing Fluke with a little bit of a CS lead over Licenseless Rider. But again, not too much though. Anything is anybody's game thus far. I like my cursor sitting there. You guys don't want to see that. We do see Fluke is level 6 though. Need to be very careful of that. Need to communicate that to the team. Being able to walk into the jungle as Nocturne to see if you can bully the Rammus a bit. If it's followed up by a Galley, well, it could end up being very deadly for your only chance. Akuma Blades is able to pull something like that off. But we see Licenseless Rider, despite being very low on mana, spending all of his cooldowns to make sure he gets Fluke as low as possible, hoping that he doesn't have the health or resources to help his team. But he is going to try to go for a quick back. Nyrus and Lee up in the top line. Again, very, very even. Grasp of the Undying Poppy, opting for the Inspiration Secondary, getting those biscuits to help him sustain along with the Corrupting Potion. Fluke actually did not finish his recall, so he's going to get pushed out a little bit by Licensed Rider. Whoa, here comes very speedy Rammus flashing into Fluke's face, and reading for a little bit more gold is going to end up costing his life, and that's going to be a kill over to your only chance. The second one of BB clocks thus far. Fluke also does not have teleport available, so if Licenseless Rider with the low amount of mana that he does have is able to push that into your tower, it's going to be a decent amount of minions lost for Fluke, but it's a little hard being out of mana Victor to be able to push a wave. But we're seeing the Kindle Gem early buy for the early CDR and the health. A little bit of defensive for Fluke, and we see thereby also in Deep Focus having no fear on the spot lane. 56 CS to the 29 on the Sivir. Very, very big CS lead there. Having that early BS sword is proving to be a very good early lead there. A lot of early damage from this BB Clock spot lane. Seeing Audio going for his red buff, and we see Rammus blue buff coming up in some time as well. Otherwise, not too much exciting. Lee Saitama back and picking up that Spectre's Cowl first. Pretty good buy versus the double ability power solo lanes. Stacking a lot of that magic resist will hopefully do a good job in negating a lot of that damage. And expect to see an adaptive helm out of her. Good bind landing by thereby also. Another Caitlyn trap. Not quite going to get him in time. I think that probably would have been a kill in the DeRosa if he was able to land that. We do see DeRosa with the Ghost, though, swapping it out with Spellbook, so we might see once he hits level 6, if we see a little bit of a cheeky Nocturne gank, Rakan ghosting in and trying to charm up who he can. Those BB Clock's bot lane that have such a substantial lead to get 73 to 39 CS. The wave crashes under the Akuma Blades tower. Wow, that's actually going to be able to block the Caitlyn Q, but not the Morgana binding, which is the ability that matters. That's going to be a melee range. Caitlyn is going to be able to finish him off with Morgana's Ignite, doing just enough damage to be able to take down Sin of Wrath. It's not looking like a good early game for him, but he does have teleport up in 3 seconds, and he's going to be able to get back in time. And here comes the Nocturne gank, being able to go onto the Caitlyn. Galio is going to be able to fall off as well. Rosa not level 6 yet, so he's going to get binded up by that Morgana. It's going to be a good shutdown for Audio, picking up that kill off of Caitlyn. Good 450 gold onto him. Going to see if he can get that early lead snowballing, as we talked about with this Nocturne. Meanwhile, here comes their only chance, coming with the Morgana. Rammus with the Morgana Black Shield is a very scary threat indeed. And we try to see them try to maybe look towards this Infernal Dragon. Both teams may. And we see them back off a little bit. Luke looking to get that blue buff to keep his resources nice and plentiful as he goes back to mid lane. Licenseless Rider with a little bit of a CS lead mid lane, but again, not too much. Waves crashing under Fluke's tower, so we'll see what he's able to pick up there. Again, top lane is just about as stalemate as it can be. Nyrus is yet to recall for his item, so he's still sitting on that Dark Seal. Still has a dose of his refillable potion as well, if he needs to use it, but it doesn't look like Akuma is going to be able to punish this Vladimir as well. It looks like it's going to be a free farm lane for him. Something very scary for BB Clocks to have to realize. They're not able to shut down this Vladimir. Is going to be a very, very scary threat. He does pick up his free boots from the Inspiration Tree. So once he does back, he will be able to purchase his tier 2 if he does opt for them. Whether we do see the Sword Shoes or the Ionian or whatever he decides to go for it. Thereby also looking for a very aggressive play. Bind's going to go a little bit wide while the Fear on Audio is not going to be enough. A good stopwatch is going to be able to buy some time. Defocus is actually going to net in, see if he can finish off the last auto on the, on Audio, but it's going to turn around and pick up the kill on the Fluke instead. It's going to be the 4th kill over to BB Clocks. 0-2 on the mid and 0-2 on the bot lane is definitely not what you want to see early on. 10 minutes is the only time that we're at here, but we do have to keep in mind the tanks are still getting beefy. It's going to be nice for BB Clocks to have that tank front line. The only tank front line that they really have to rely on inside of Akuma Blades really is the Galio, and again, so very heavy damage focus. He's going to have a little bit of health and the resistances from his Aftershock, but otherwise they really don't have too much. They do have the very heavy dive comp, but no big tank line to help them out with it, so very, very squishy. If Victor and Caitlyn are able to get ahead, I can imagine them just able to pop 1, 2, 3, one after the other. If they're able to get their leads. We do see Stormrazor being finished on the Caitlyn. Very, very big lead compared to the Berserker Greaves on Sin of Wrath. A very big damage difference there in the bot lane. You see Drosa with heal and exhaust, so we may see them try to go for some sort of 2v2 or maybe another Nocturne gank down in the bot lane, having both combat summoners. It would also be nice for Drosa to have the cleanse later in the game as well if he does go in, try to eat that Morgana bind, just instantly cleanse it and have the reduced duration of other abilities that can be landed on him from that cleanse ability. See the Morgana is going to be able to, or excuse me, Sin of Wrath is going to be able to eat that Morgana bind with the spell shield. We're actually seeing Fluke going for a little bit of aggressive play, seeing if they can burst out Licenseless Rider. It's going to flash away. You see a teleport coming in from Nyrus, and a Nocturnal. It's going to be turn everything dark. It's so dark I can't see. Poppy really can't figure out what's going on with that Nocturne darkness going down, but it's going to be able to duel with Nyrus a little bit, and Audio limping away as well. We see Licenseless Rider and Rammus coming back in. A flash from your early chance is going to be able to taunt up Audio. That's going to be a kill over Licenseless Rider. Rammus flashing off cooldown just about every chance he gets, coming in, rolling. Again, this is pretty much what we see out of Your Only Chance when he does pick up this Rammus. He does apply a lot of this really good early game pressure. He does have the Cinderhulk finish, so he's going to be able to get very tanky very quickly. About a 2k gold lead on the side of BB Clocks. Luke's going to get stunned up by the gravity field there real quick, and Silver's going to have to pop that ultimate. Be able to get away from the very scary BB Clocks bot lane. 3-1 on this Caitlyn thus far, and 0-0-3, having those 3 assists for thereby also. Otherwise, despite 6 kills having happened in 13 minutes, still not too much exciting action going on. We do see Morgana and Caitlyn are going to be able to walk up and see if they can get more turret play for the last 40 seconds that they're able to. Morgana bind is going to land on the Sin of Wrath. He just teleported back to lane. We see both Akuma and Nyrus going back and forth in the top lane. Good stun up against the wall is going to be able to deal a good amount of damage to Nyrus still has flash up, and he has Nocturne up here in the top lane, has ultimate. Here he comes, very speedy, going to be able to hex tech forward. Lands the ult off, and Pop is going to try to flash away. Lee Saitama trying to take on the world. 1v2 is going to end up being unsuccessful, though. 350 gold to go over to Nyrus up in the top lane. So far, 100 CS at 14 minutes. This top lane, Vladimir, is going to be able to maybe turn this lead into something, get those very heavy damage items early on. Again, both both solo laners for Akuma Blades being the Hextech Protobelt types, both having them completed. Otherwise, we do see the Hex Core and the Sheen being finished on Licenseless Rider. Goodness, excuse me. Lee Saitama teleporting back up there to the top lane. Not too much else to teleport on the map. You see Dragon, though, coming up in about a minute 30. It's going to be an Earth Dragon, something that both teams should probably look towards. As we approach 15 minutes, though, we see your only chance, perhaps trying to get some vision around this Rift Arrow. So Lee Saitama, and that good vision ward there down in the river, so you can spot out that Nocturne gank before it happens. But Sever is still able to farm up. We do see her having 100 CS to the Caitlyn's 140. Again, a very big CS difference, but he is CSing nonetheless. Slowly but surely, I should say. It's a story of the tortoise and the hare, perhaps, for Akuma Blades. Nyrus looking to protect his vision ward with his life, and it may cost him just that. Pool's going to go down while the ball is actually going to land just as Nyrus comes out of his pool there. Surprisingly enough, that's actually going to be another kill over your only chance on this Rammus. Be able to get him just in time. Maybe not something Nyrus expected there. And again, pink ward 75 gold is not something to give the enemy team a 300 gold for, so not really worth a trade if you're Akuma Blades. Seeing both the top and the jungle, seeing if they can perhaps try to get this first blood tower here in the top lane, knowing that Nocturne is looking towards his bot lane. So we're seeing Fluke clear this vision out, and you may see him start to walk down there. Knowing that Nocturne is going to be able to give him his blue pretty early on, but we do see first blood tower is going to be given to both the top and jungle BB clocks, so very well done. First tower is a very significant objective. Jaros is actually going to get rooted up by the Morgana Bind as well as the Caitlyn trap. Feels Nocturne to be enough to save him. Morgana fleeing away from the Nocturne fear, and the Q is going to be just enough to finish him off. And here comes Fluke, flash ult in the Caitlyn, knocking him off. Double kill for Audio, Sin of Wrath, and Fluke. Akuma Blades, Licenseless Rider coming in with an ult to zone as Rammus tries to speedball very quickly towards the very low Sin of Wrath. Nyrus is actually going to be able to disconnect from the game, knowing this absolute fiesta he's watching down there in the bot lane. But he's reconnected. He's like, okay, I've seen what I've had to. I closed my client, I wiped my eyes a little bit, splashed some water on my face, and I'm back in the game. I'm back in it to win it. So we have a little bit of a pause. Just seems making sure he's all good. Otherwise, we do see so far BB Clocks about a 3k gold lead, 7-4 over Akuma Blades. Oh, I'm sorry, I have the FPS and paying up in the corner. That's not professional of me. We do see Earth Dragon, though, has spawned. We do see that with two of the members of Akuma Blades being very low and Rammus already being up here with this dragon and Poppy coming over as well. This might be the second dragon over to BB Clocks. We'll see how they respond. Nyrus and Fluke are both teleportless. So is Sin of Wrath, so they're going to have to rush to this dragon if they want to contest, and I think Jaros is probably the only one close that's able to do anything about it, so it's looking like it's a pretty secure dragon. BB Clocks. And we're seeing the bot lane outer tower is going to go down. Licenseless Rider picking up that gold and pushing out that lane. A 450 gold bounty on him as well as the Rammus as they pick up that second dragon. Earth Dragon and Infernal Dragon, both very nice dragons to have. Seems like the RNG gods of Riot Games are smiling upon BB Clocks today, not giving them any oceans. Let's actually pan over. What have we got here for the next one? Another Earth Dragon, so both teams will have to keep that in mind, not wanting BB Clocks to pick up that second Earth Dragon. It allows Caitlyn to really shred that Baron if they try to opt for it. Caitlyn Trap's going to be able to root Fluke up, and he's going to take about half his health for it. He's going to clear what minions he can with his Hextech Protobelt, but it's going to be another red turret destroyed. 3 towers over to the side of BB Clocks, so your only chance now tries to look towards Rift Hero with the rest of his team. See if they take that and look to get one of their first inner turrets of the game. Although Audio and Jaros are saying not so fast. Center Wrath is not going to be able to press that spell shield in time, but it's not going to get punished for it. Meanwhile, Speedball coming in, taunting up Audio, and it's going to be a very good spell shield coming out by him. Going to be able to avoid a certain death. This Rammus being very scary, having the mobility boots finished, knowing that he has been just all around this entire map, as well as the Megatron cloak to try to negate a lot of the damage coming out from the Vladimir and the Galio. Here comes Deep Focus and your only chance trying to duo this Herald down, while Lee Saitama thereby also clearing out vision. Trying to flex on anyone that tries to show their face. Again, very slow, but a very secure lead that BB Clock is able to establish so far. It is 18.5 minutes, so we do see Baron coming up at that 20-minute point. So we'll see. I can't imagine either team is going to go for an early Dragon, or excuse me, Baron again. Goodness. But if it is going to be anyone, it's probably going to be BB Clocks with this early Earth Dragon. We do see Nocturne on the side if they do try to get a good engage off here. If there is any time to engage a fight, it's when one of these members of BB Clocks are not suspecting it. Drossa trying to scan and see what wards he's able to clear. He's able to dash away. It's so very strange that the speed of Rakan E probably was on par with what Rakan W was, but now with Rakan W being so slow, it's such a weird speed difference where he's able to, boom, just whoosh, completely, just dash over to someone and shield them, but God forbid he has to, engage a W. It's gonna, be slower than molasses. It's just gonna be one of the slowest interactions you've ever seen. Again, game's slowing down a little bit though, as both teams try to farm up a little bit, finish some of their core items. We do see the Storm Razor finished onto the Sivir, but we do see the Rapid Fire Cannon, so 2 items finished on Deep Focus. Very, very big difference here for the AD carries. A lot of damage coming out from this Caitlyn, her long range, able to abuse and actually be able to pick off Sin of Wrath yet again with another good Morgana bind. He's just not able to spell shield them in time. And another Darkness is going to come out from Audio while they try to get the Rakan gauge going, but the W is not really going to be able to land on anyone. But here comes Fluke, knocking up 3 members of BB Clocks, and the shutdown actually going to land on a Caitlyn. Lee Saitama being very low, a double kill going up for Nyrus, and he's looking for more. Lee Saitama is so very low and stunned up by the gravity field. Audio is going to go down, and Licensed Rider picking up a second kill. Drossa going down, but Nyrus is going to see if he can finish off 1v3 against some members of BB Clocks, but he's going to get taunted up by the Rammus, and Licensed Rider is going to pick up a triple kill. 12-6 for BB Clocks and an ace. 6k gold, and they're going to be able to spawn that Rift Herald, pick up this, perhaps what may be this Inhib Tower. 4 members of, Akuma Blade still down for the count. Gravity Field 4, zoning, and a flash away on Sin of Wrath is just not going to be enough. Looks like they're still going to be able to secure this Inhib. Sivir being popped is also, it's very important utility that she is now blown. Going to have to wait on that cooldown. Nyrus, though, picked up a lot of gold from that team fight. He is able to finish a full Rabadon's Death Cat. Not having his tier 2 boots complete, but that really not mattering. Having so much damage on this Vladimir. He did pick up a good amount of damage from that team fight, but it really just was not enough. Lee Saitama and Your Only Chance are so very tanky on both this Rammus and the Poppy. We do see the Abyssal Mask actually coming out from Your Only Chance. Able to tank up a lot of that damage from the Vladimir and the Galio. Having a lot of health as well, so really the damage coming out from Sin of Wrath on this only Storm Razor and what's about to be a Zeal Caitlyn, or a Zeal Sivir, once she does finish that recall. It's still going to be such little damage coming out from the bot lane of Akuma Blades compared to the Zonia's Hourglass Morgana and the Storm Razor Rapid Fire Cannon Caitlyn. And we do see the perfect hex core being finished on Licensed Rider, as well as the full Lichbane. So much damage on this 900 gold bounty Victor. Starting to look towards that, what is now the 3rd dragon, second Earth Dragon for BB Clocks. Very good for them to pick that up. Very much does help with the objectives that they have been taking so far. 5 towers to 0. Very dominating victories thus far in this 22-minute game. Otherwise, it looks like Audio is really going to get pushed out of his jungle. There's really not so much else they can do. Nyrus is going to try to see if he can push up a little bit with his jungler and see if they can get this blue buff, but they know there's too many members of BB Clocks there. Can't really do too much about it. We're going to see 5 members of BB Clocks actually looking for the bot lane now. We do see Lee Saitama does have the teleport available, so I really wish he probably maybe would have opted to go top, but 4 members of BB Clocks do go bottom, him having that teleport to, come down with his team when it would be needed, but It is a numbers game here in Season 9 League of Legends. Demolish doing a great amount of damage to that turret. Very, very strong tank mastery. Otherwise, it's a little bit of stalemate while we see BB Clocks try to siege up this bot lane inhib tower. We do see the super minions, though, flooding into the mid lane while Nyrus tries to farm them up as best as he can. Audio being at about half mana while Jaros is a little above half health. Here comes the Nocturnal, very, very dark, and a 3-man taunt coming up from the Galleon. Lee Saitama is actually going to be able to kill Audio. Jaros very low, is going to opt out of the rest of the fight, and Vladimir damage is actually going to send so many of the members of BB Clocks low, and he's still healthy enough to fight. Having the ready to carry dead from the Flash Galio taunt is going to say, hey, we need to back off. 5 and 4, deep focus on the Caitlyn. It's still just not going to, you know, it doesn't matter how far ahead you are in ED carry. If a mage has Flash and is able to get on top of you, you are dead. Jaros is not having the AD carry though. BB Clocks are looking to see if they can get this inhib turret. License this Rider with a Morgana shield. Dealing a lot of this damage. Fluke's not able to do too much with the low amount of mana he has, while super minions are still flooding into the base mid lane. So it's not going to be enough damage off into this tower though. It is going to survive, so they were able to hold off the siege. Very good engage from Akuma Blades. They were able to pick off that good kill into the Caitlyn, but really not too much else they can do after that. They weren't able to capitalize. If they were able to pick up some more kills, you may have seen a Baron having 3 teleports. If they were able to you know, teleport to that pink ward, or the vision ward I should say, in the topside jungle of Akuma Blades. If all 3 of them teleported and then rushed right to Baron, you know, in a perfect world, maybe if they were able to pick up more kills from BB Clocks, but unless you're picking up that Rammus to take his smite out of the way, it's a little bit risky. And meanwhile, speaking of Baron, here goes BB Clocks. 2 Earth Dragons, very, very much taking a lot of this damage, taking this Baron very low. It's going to be a little bit of a smite fight, though. We do see the Blasting Cone available for Audio to take. He does try to take the Smite War, and Audio is actually going to grab it, despite having, or being taunted up by Your Only Chance. Very, very good smite and flash out by Audio, perhaps saving the game for Akuma Blades, picking up that Baron. We're going to see what BB Clocks can do to respond to that. Audio picking up that red buff while super minions are flooding into the base. They may see it, or see if they can just go for a final push. Iris is actually going to get binded up, and here comes another Nocturne engage, and here comes Drosa stunning up and charming up who he can. Iris is going to get stunned and pushed out of the fight very low, but an entire 5-man taunt coming out from Fluke. Very, very good Galio taunt. Sever's going to be able to do what small damage he can to the Rammus and be able to pick up a kill. A triple kill, actually, coming out from Sid of Wrath on the Sivir. License's Rider is unstoppable as well, having fallen, though. Sarah's actually, having her static shift complete, is actually able to do a good amount of damage now, but I think the major game-deciding play there was Fluke on the Galio, dealing so much damage, having stunned up, or excuse me, taunted up every member of BB Clocks. And now 4 members of Akuma Blades are able to walk down mid with Baron. And you know, this is how games turn. This is, you know, all it takes is one good team fight. If you're not able to, you know, stop something as absolutely dramatically impactful as a Galio taunting up your entire team, it's going to be detrimental for you. We do see License's Rider falling and giving up that bounty. We do see, you know, a lot of the members of BB Clocks now starting to shake a little bit from what was a substantial and really confident, almost secured victory, is now turning into a little bit of a game that you need to sit on the edge of your chair for. We do see it's just about a little more than a 2k gold lead on the side of BB Clocks, but it's still anybody's game. Mid inhib has respawned for Akuma Blades, while Dragon is coming up in about 40 seconds. See what they're able to do there. Jaros is actually able to get a few good recon engages off as well. Having the darkness from the Nocturne, being able to turn off the lights, it does make for quite a chaotic mess once the Vladimir is in your team with the recon. If your entire team is charmed and knocked out, while Nyrus is able to, you know, just ult 4 members of your team while the rest of them are Galio taunted and whatnot. It's an absolutely terrifying combo that they're actually able to start, or they're starting to execute here 27 minutes in. They still are down a substantial amount though. We do see BB Clocks does have 5 towers over them. Again, still about 2k gold lead. 3 dragons, 2 of which being Earths and the other being an Infernal. Looks like they may pick up a 4th from as well. And here comes the very, very speedy Rammus, opting to teleport away as the teleport comes in from Akuma Blades. Here comes Galio looking to flex up with his team, thereby also on the side, see if he can find someone with Morgana bind, but not quite going to find it. The inner mid lane turret is going to fall to Akuma Blades.
Your team's turret has been destroyed.
It's going to It's going to be a good pickup for Akuma Blade. They're showing they're not quite out of the game just yet, but meanwhile we do see 5 members of BB Clocks seeing if they can maybe go towards this mid inhib, so might see another explosive fight right here in the mid lane. We do see Dragon is up. It is only a Cloud though, maybe not the highest priority the team to take. I think the inhib is probably in everybody's best interest, regardless of what team you're on this game. But BB Clocks, again, still backing off of it. They're really not sure how to close out this game, despite Caitlyn having 3 items and had such a huge lead over Sin of Wrath. It does not matter, because now Sin of Wrath has 3 items of his own. Both AD carries having the Infinity Edge finish, and their Zeal items with the Storm Razor allows them both at 60% crit chance, dealing the true damage. So they're both very, very scary damage threats at this point, even though Sin of Wrath was just an absolute non-factor for most of this game. Now he's a terrifying hyper carry that they need to worry about, so totally different playstyle that Akuma Blades are able to play now that they have that damage member able to come out. Again, Jerosa having that redemption finish off, and the Ardent Sensor coming close, and Morgana having both the Zonia's Hourglass and the completed Sightstone item. I guess it's not a Sightstone anymore. I miss Sightstone. We do see a 950 gold bounty on Sin of Wrath, though. Very, very big gold lead, despite only being 3 and 3. A little bit of a silly bounty system, but I can't argue with Riot Games, I suppose. So if they are able to pick up this, if they are able to pick up on or kill on Sin of Wrath, it's going to be a 950 gold, 1,000 gold for 1 kill. Very, very silly game design, to say the least, but nonetheless. We do see the Oblivion Orb and almost the Morella Nomicon on the Victor. Licensed Rider getting very strong himself. We do see 4 members, and 5th coming up for BB Clocks, with Nyrus seeing if he can get that outer bot lane turret. Teleport is up for him. He's able to teleport up at a good opportune time for a good fight. See Lee Saitan is able to pick up Fluke. Very, very thirsty. Wants that kill so bad he's actually going to be able to stun him up against the wall despite being taunted. And Dross is going to be able to charm up the Morgana. And Zoni's Hourglass is coming out, and Dross is going to be able to fall to Licensed Rider, and taunting up by the Rambus is going to result in the Fluke going down. Nyrus bringing out a lot of damage on the deep focus, and the Flash is actually going to be able to guarantee that kill. 3 members of BB Clock stand with a double kill on the Licensed Rider with the Victor, while Sin of Wrath and Audio, only members left alive on Akuma Blades, trying to fight off what they can, but it's still just such a stalemate. Both teams are just unable to finish anything up, but Sin of Wrath taking a lot of damage from this Victor. Licensed Rider so very strong on the 7-1-6 Victor, having a 600 gold bounty of his own. 3 members of BB Clocks versus 2, looking to see if they can get that mid inhib, just playing it safe. They're not wanting to go with anything crazy, knowing that Baron's up right about now. Rosa trying to apply some pressure, but it's not going to be scary enough. Mid inhib is going to fall, but we do see a ghost coming out from Jerosa, trying to see if he can get in there fast enough. He's fast, but not fast enough. Lee Saitama and Licensed Rider are going to be able to walk out of here while Baron is just about spawning. We do see Lee Saitama's teleport is up, despite being low on mana. So he might have to recall, see if he can get a quick purchase in before his Baron starts up. Jerosa clearing out some vision of his own. 800 gold bounty compared to the 950 on the server that we did see a little bit ago. Not having died or gotten a kill, but bounty is fluctuating. Riot game. Sorry, shouldn't flame. Still seeing 3 items from the server though. We do see the Hexdrinker actually. He's a little, Deep Focus is a little afraid of the very scary Nyrus that has shown that he will flash on Caitlyn every time he does show his face. It's very, very hard to deal with a Rabadon Zonia's Protobelt Victor, Vladimir, but meanwhile, here we go. Audio. Darkness yet again, and Jerosa is going to be able to see if he can what charm he can get off, but thereby also landing a good stun onto him, and Licensed Rider taking up that Vladimir damage, and your only chance doing a good job to peel off the Victor, the Vladimir from the Victor. Zoni's Hourglass is not going to be enough to save him. Speedball is going to be able to finish off Nyrus. 1 member of Akuma Blades being down, and Audio almost getting stunned up by that Poppy. Good spell shield coming out. And here comes the Speedball and the Morgana Brute, landing right on Jerosa. Another kill. 2 kills going over to BB Clocks as they walk down this mid lane with the inhib down and super minions coming into the base. Can 3 members of Akuma Blades defend against 5 of BB Clocks, so they try to go for the spot lane inhib. We'll take a look. Baron is up though, so it does look like they're going to try to make the final push. 20 seconds on all the members of Akuma Blades. Good Morgana blind is going to be able to negate the engage coming out from Fluke. Zoni's Hourglass is coming down. The Caitlyn trap isn't going to be able to land from under him. But the two tanks, BB Clocks being so low, they want to opt out and see if they can play a little bit safer, knowing that they got those two inhibs. That's very much a victory. They don't want to push for anything else and potentially throw. So they are going to try to get all their recalls, see what items they can finish off. We do see Victor was able to finish off that Morella Nomicon for that fight. So we'll see what he's going to try to maybe see if he can get that broken stopwatch turned into a Zoni's Hourglass. 7-1-7, very dominating on this Victor. Despite being 2-4-8 though, Fluke on this Galio being very, very effective, getting a lot of very good flash taunts off. Score does not matter on that champion if you're able to make those really good game-changing plays. Still a 2k gold lead over to BB Clock, still maintaining that for a good majority of the game. We do see Akuma Blades picking up their second dragon, that being the Infernal Dragon to go along with their Cloud Dragon, while the rest of the members of BB Clocks look towards this Baron. Morgana's running out of base to see if he can catch up with the rest of her team. Lagging a little far behind, but we do see Akuma Blades picking up that Infernal, so it is a nice little damage buff for them. I'm sorry, Bezelheim, we aren't able to bet on any cookies on the second channel. If you want to make a complaint, please do so to Fallen Artemis, who neglects me on the second channel. There's favoritism. There's not really much you can do about it. Don't harass Fallen. Fallen has enough to deal with. 1,000 gold bounty, actually, Sin of Wrath on the Sivir. Going from 950 to 600 to 950, or excuse me, to 1,000. You know, gold bounties fluctuating all the time. 285 CS, despite being 40 CS down earlier. Now he has the 40 CS lead up on Deep Focus. And we actually see Jerosa popping that barrier. Why not, you know? Otherwise, we are going to see just some very careful gameplay. We're going to see if BB Clocks can maybe, you know, pick someone off. They are abusing the lack of vision that Akuma Blades has to maybe look for a Morgana binding, a Poppy stun, a Rambus taunt. You know, a lot of different options of crowd control for BB Clocks, but Rambus speedballing around is a scary enough threat all on its own. We do see, though, the Nocturnal has been very effective. It does show that a lack of vision does create a little bit of chaos in these team fights. It's a little hard to keep track of your teammates, you know, who's, you know, getting taken down by who and all that different good stuff. So team communication is key. Take down the huddle. We see Baron getting finished off, and that's actually going to be Baron secured for BB Clocks. Still having two inhibs. So having double lanes of Supermanis with Baron buff. They try to go for that top lane. Again, 35-minute game, or excuse me, 36-minute game. So we do see the inhibs are respawning though, so despite them trying to go for a little bit on this, or a push for the inner top lane turret, we may see them try to rotate towards the mid lane. We do see Lee Saitama does have the teleport. He hasn't really been utilizing it that much this game, besides going back to lane to, you know, farm up minions early on in the laning phase, but otherwise he really hasn't been able to utilize it elsewhere around the map. It would be nice for him to see, you know, maybe go mid lane or bot lane, whichever of the two, to apply that lane pressure with his teleport, knowing that he can teleport in with the rest of his team. But it is very scary. He's not able to teleport in. Need to keep in mind with the Nocturne ultimate, if he's able to turn the lights off in time before Lee Saitama can get his teleport off of casting, then you know, it's probably the way that Akuma Blades want to go and really rely on that. Thereby also clearing out the vision. Mid lane inhib is up, but the bot lane inhib is still down. We see another wave of super minions charging up the lane. Again, very, very slow game though. You know, both teams are wanting to play it so careful. They don't want to throw it one way or another. Here comes Jerosa. Lots of damage coming out from that crit Caitlyn. And Jerosa being very fast, getting speedy away by Severin. Here comes the Nocturne ultimate. And Galio and Morgana are going to be able to Zonia's up. And that's going to be a lot of damage coming out for both Licenseless Rider and Caitlyn. Sivir's going to be able to fall on the shutdown coming from Licenseless Rider down onto Licenseless Rider, picking up on Sin of Wrath. Having two members of Akuma Blades down, but here comes Nyrus getting taunted up by the Rammus. A lot of damage coming out from Caitlyn again, and Morgana coming out, or excuse me, Ignite coming out from Morgana is going to allow him to pick up that shutdown, and Flash coming out from your only chance is going to be able to knock up the Guardian Angel Nocturne just in time, rooted up by the Caitlyn. Deep Focus going to pick up another kill in the audio. Seeing if you can get that last kill in the Jerosa. Bond's going to go a little bit wide. The last headshot! He's going to pick up a last kill for Deep Focus. 24-13. A victory for the side of Akuma Blades. Double kill 9, 5, and 10 on this Caitlyn. Woo! Very, very deciding game. Very, very dominant despite being very slow and very careful. BB Clocks do pick up this first win in this best of 3 series. Very, very good first game by BB Clocks. We'll take a look at the scoreboard here. We do see 9-1-9. Very, very careful game played out by Licenseless Rider, and your only chance, at least Saitama as well. Very low death counts, 1-1-2. You know, very, very good to see. We do see Deep Focus being very, very strong on this Caitlyn as well. 9-5-10. Dying a little bit more than we like to see, but very good nonetheless. Lots of kill participation coming out as well. 5-6, you know, on the top lane, and I'd say this, or all the scores for Akuma Blades actually were still just about average. You know, they held their head above water. They still try to keep in just as much as they can. Taking a look at the damage charts if you like to see them here. You know, we see 31k coming out from the Caitlyn, very, very strong, but not too far behind is the Sivir, who was able to come back, you know, to the best of his ability. He was very down in CS early, you know, was very dominant, or a very dominating performance from Deep Focus and thereby also in the laning phase, but despite that, Set of Wrath and Jerosa were able to come back a bit in their team fighting capability, so they were able to, you know, still provide what they could. Otherwise, we'll take a look at the graph if you'd like the specific graph. Here's the damage chart. If you'd like to see that, I'm not sure what else you'd like to see. Would you like to see vision score, actually? Here's the, we'll take off the damage. Here's the vision score looking for the game. We do see 69 and 74 in the supports. And otherwise, still very, very average. Not too much else. I like to take a look at damage taken as well. You know, tanks, it's a good amount. Actually, Nocturne taking up a lot of that damage compared to the Rammus and the Poppy. So, very, very good first game by both BB Clocks and Akuma Blades. We'll try to get this next game going up here. This is actually going to be AKM on this side now. So, give me a second here. BB Clocks. Tournament draft all. Password. It's 123. Don't join it though, please. Lee Saitama, Deep Focus. Who else we got here? That's it. The rest of them can invite their boys. Let's see. I don't have as many people as I would like to have added. Well. Oh no, where did all my tabs go? I don't have the player names. This is awkward. I'm not properly set up. I'm usually not the one making the lobby. So, can't remember how to spell Jero, so we're just gonna go to the Sugar Free League website. We're gonna, oh, that's the Twitch channel. Oh my goodness, I'm so out of it tonight. I apologize. Teams, Akuma Blades. Tag up audio. Awesome. I knew it was audio, but I can't remember tag up and whatnot. So, again, very good dominating first game from BB Clocks. Very nice to see. So we'll see tag up audio. We'll get X Fluke in here. Gotta get. They're not accepting as fast as I would like. I don't want them to think I'm neglecting them. Okay, at least one of them joined. So otherwise, until everybody's ready and getting this game going, we're going to have a little bit of an intermission. So take a little bit of a bathroom break. Keep in mind that 10 o'clock right now, the, let me double check here, the Wasted Potential and Free Tyler 1 game over on the main channel, casted by Coas and Nate, is just about to begin. So if you want to stay here, if you want to head over there, you know, whatever you want to do, both series are going to be fantastic. Do keep in mind that other game is going to be going, though. If you do like gambling, if you do like betting on your cookies, it is probably going to, just go over there. That's the only place you can do your gambling. But, actually, I don't even think we'll have to do an intermission. If everybody's ready, hopefully we can get this going sooner rather than later. I'm going to switch the teams now. I apologize for being so very slow on this. We'll get all this going. So, BB Clocks. Whoops. Akuma Blades. BB Clocks. And BB Clocks F1. Awesome. So we're all set up. And we're actually going to have 1 second here. We'll Deep Focus, get some water. So we'll throw that up. Why not? And we'll take this down and have these two. And this. And here we go, getting into the second game of the BB Clocks and Akuma Blade series. I do apologize, I did have teams on the wrong sides there for a moment. I did think there was going to be a swap there, as is typically ritual, but looks like we're going to keep the same side. So BB Clocks is going to be on the blue team, while Akuma Blades is going to stay on the red side. Do see the first few bans coming out. I really wish one of the teams would ban Galio. I'm going to be completely honest. I really don't like watching Galio gameplay. I think it's one of the most resident sleeper things ever. Maybe not boring, but like, it's kind of just so expected. Like, oh, the flash taunt comes out from the Galio when they win the team fight. It's like, ooh, wow. But regardless, we do see the bans coming out from both teams. Taking off the Alistar, taking away the Camille. Seeing the Xerath ban as well. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I haven't looked up the players before these games, so I'm not sure the pools of every individual player, but I really don't think it's going to be that much of a priority at being an immobile mage is able to get punished by assassins and the like. But we do see Licenseless Rider, you know, doesn't want to pick the assassins. He wants to go back to the Victor that he showed very dominant on that first game. We see Akuma Blades are actually picking up 2 power picks of their own, that being the Lucian, the Sejuani jungle. Etrog Xin Poppy bans from Akuma Blades. Again, keeping in mind, no Galio ban. Still not picked up by either side. Because again, keep in mind, even though they do have the Victor picked, it still could go to Lee Saitama in the top lane, and maybe Licenseless Rider is willing to pick up the Galio for the mid lane. But I really don't think they're going to want to do that. Just not really their style. We do see early chance, though. Says, I'm done with picking Rammus. I'll go easy on you guys this time. Not going to go for the Rammus. I'll go for the Trundle. Take away a lot of the resistances and the tankiness away from that Sejuani. So we'll see the rest of the picks coming out here. I'm happy to see Lucian, though. I'm very much happy to see Lucian for Sin of Wrath. He certainly wasn't incapable of dealing damage and being a scary threat later on to the game, but I really don't think Sever was his champion. We saw him miss a lot of like really easy spell shields. Spell shields, maybe a couple seconds late and he wasn't able to, get it off on the Morgana bind or any sort of crucial skill shot that you do need to spell shield on Sever. So I don't think he was too comfortable. He was able to wave clear a lot, and I think it was more so for the synergy of the Rakan-Sever combination that they may have planned ahead of time. But I'm glad that we actually see something a little bit more aggressive, such as Lucian Karma perhaps, or possibly for the bot lane. It may even be Fluke on Karma mid, something that I also like to see as well. A lot of early damage, able to go support items and, be a lot more of a utility carry along with a lot of the damage. Otherwise, we see Kai'Sa picked up for Deep Focus. Again, I think Lucian Kai'Sa are really the only 280 carries besides Vayne, who I think is just kind of stupidly overpowered. I don't think she's like out of this world. Like, she's not good in the sense of, I don't want this song for while I'm talking. A 57-second song? No way. Okay, there we go. As I was saying, Lucian and Kai'Sa are probably the highest tier 80 carries just in terms of their kits and their capabilities in the current meta. I think Vayne kind of was just forced into the meta because the really silly tumble ult buff she got. So I really don't like to consider her, like, in the same level as them, but she is just as strong as them. It is very player dependent, obviously. You still need to be decent at Vayne to be able to utilize the very short cooldown on the tumble and all that different stuff, but having the most common build being the Guinso's Rage Blade and able to abuse that, 2-tap true damage, it's still a very, very scary pick. We're actually seeing Jerosa go for the Rakan again, so that leads me to believe that's actually going to be a Fluke Karma in the mid lane. Meanwhile, we see Kai'Sa maybe looking to see if she can pair up with the Leona. See if they can go for a little bit of a stun aggressive bot lane. But hovering around the Mundo, maybe hovering around for a top lane pick while they still decide on their support. So we're actually seeing a Maokai locked in for the top lane. So BB Clocks very, very comfortable with picking their tanks. They do like to, I guess, Trundle with the anti-tank as well. He can still be tanky on his own. But we're mostly seeing that pick to negate the Sejuani. So again, besides that Sejuani, unless we see something picked up for the top lane of Akuma Blades, it's still going to be, I don't want to say a squishy composition, because again, now they do have that Sejuani, but we did see last game, they pretty much got steamrolled. They didn't have the tanky front line. They did have Nyrus dealing a lot of damage on the Vladimir that was banned away this game, as well as the Braum. So and Morgana Nami as well. So a lot of these support picks being taken off the table didn't really leave a lot of room for imagination. So again, Drossa on Rakan, pretty common pick. I'm actually excited to see Fluke Karma mid. I love Karma mid. I think it's just in general a really awesome pick to have with any composition, you know, allowing all 5 members to be sped up. You know, really healthy shield depending on how much ability power she's able to accumulate. If she does pick up something like the Ardent Censer or maybe a Fiend's Holy Grail. But it might be seen as something that can help out the Sejuani as they go around the lanes. And, you know, we did see a lot of 2v2s and different skirmishes. We saw Your Only Chance loves to apply that early pressure in the mid lane, even if it means burning his flash as early as 3 minutes. So I think it's something that is able to negate a lot of ganks if Karma is able to Mantra W and able to get a lot of that good healing off and, you know, speed herself away, slow with the Q as well. You know, it does allow for a lot more safety, a lot more, I can kind of outplay any sort of, you know, big heavy damage burst that you might try to bring out on me and try to negate it a little bit. So we do have a little bit of a 3-minute wait while we try to get in this game. Summoner spells looking pretty fine. I really wish Fluke opted for Barrier as opposed to Ignite, knowing that Licenseless Rider goes, or going for the Barrier instead of Heal, I should say, with Licenseless Rider being able to negate a lot of that heal with the Grievous Wounds that comes out from Ignite. So Barrier probably would have been the safer choice. Maybe even Cleanse, knowing that you have a Maokai, a Trundle, a Victor, and a Leona. You know, a lot of this crowd control coming out from BB Clocks. No, Cleanse probably could have been a good choice for a good defensive summoner spell, but I don't think it's the end of the world by any stretch of the means. We do see Nyrus opting for the Ghost up there in the top lane, maybe looking to see if he can get a little bit more aggressive on the Lee side Tom in these 1v1s, but he does need to keep in mind if he wants to go for these early skirmishes, early brawls, you know, he does need to keep in mind where your only chances on the map. He doesn't want to overextend, doesn't want to go over aggressive and get punished by the jungler. Even Licenseless Rider if he does opt to walk up mid lane and maybe loop behind him. So needs to be careful in this Darius. He does, both top players have shown that they are able to CS pretty efficiently, so if they want to, you know, keep it as a stalemate and just, you know, do nothing but farm, I think both of them are more than happy with that. Otherwise, both tanky jungles, or I assume the Trundle go tanky. You know, I think the only time we've really seen a damage-heavy Trundle is probably up in the top lane with some sort of Tiamat item and whatnot, maybe even a Trinity Force, but maybe not in the jungle. A lot of times, if we see things like Trundle and Olaf in the jungle, we are seeing support items. We're seeing things like the Zeke's Convergence. We're seeing, even in the Olaf jungle, if you were a fan of LCK and you watch one of the most recent Olaf jungle games that was played, opting for a Redemption first item. All these junglers realizing the usefulness and utility that support items are able to bring to the table. Whew, man, I'm really not sure what else to talk about. I like that Lucian was picked up. Like I said, Sin of Wrath on Sivir, really, I didn't enjoy seeing that. He was able to pick up a triple kill in the fight like we saw, but I think we can see him maybe pop off a little bit more on something like Lucian, where, again, just about any player on Lucian is going to look pretty darn good at this stage of the game in this current meta. So very strong, being able to finish off the Blade or Ruin King early to, you know, help with that percentage health damage. You get a lot of sustain as well. And then as soon as you get that Black Cleaver picked up, you are a tank shredder. You're able to get that percentage health damage from your Black Cleaver. You're able to get the armor shred from your, the percentage health shred from your Blade of the Ruin King, armor shred from your Black Cleaver. That also allows you to have 20% CDR. It gives you a little bit of health as well. The Phage passive goes along great with, you know, Lucian's Ardent Blaze. Give him that extra movement speed that he needs to, you know, catch up to people. If he's able to get the good W into a calling off to catch up to anyone, or even kite back if he's looking to kite back the Maokai and the Trundle. A lot of different options. We do see Jaros' Rakan again. He was able to pull off a good amount of engages with the ultimate, and that was nice to see, but it was really, really hard to see if he can pick up anyone with the knockout. So very slow and awful nerf that I really think was so very undeserved for Rakan. Again, I do understand a lot of people's complaints with the lack of counterplay and whatnot with it, but it's just so very depressing. I very much like Rakan. I very much like the character. I like his kid as a whole, the personality and all that. So it's, as opposed to something that I really don't like seeing, such as Pyke, you know, something as the infamous support assassin in the bot lane, you know, something like that I don't like seeing. But I'm actually cool with Rakan. You know, he does waver in between that Enchanter support and Engage support type of hybrid. Because we do see a lot of times, as we saw last game, you know, having the Ardent Sensor, things like Redemption, Zeke's Convergence, and all that. So a lot of those Enchanter items. While also, you know, we did see maybe in the past some Knight's Vow Rakans and, you know, just tankier Rakan builds. We do see him going Guardian this game. We've seen some go Summonary in the past. You know, some we see go Coin, some we see go Spell Thief's Edge. Lots of different options for Rakan. Turn off the music there. We wait for the game music. Just about everybody's loaded into this game. So for those of you just turning in, or for those of you that have decided to stay tuned in watching, this is the second game of Big Black Clocks versus Akuma Blades. We'll see if BBC can actually finish out this game in a nice and swift fashion. Perhaps maybe Akuma Blades can decide to fight back against BB Clocks and pick up the win for the second game and bring it to a game 3. And if we do get it to a game 3, it always calls for a good 5-minute break while we jam out some silver scrapes together. So either way, it's a win-win for us. We get some good entertainment, we get some good games, some good competition from all 10 of these players. Very awesome to see so far. We see nothing out of the ordinary in Keystones yet again. We see Trundle, you know, press the attack, Aftershock, Sejuani, standard stuff. Nothing too crazy. I think the oddest thing coming out of this game is probably the Maokai top. Maokai's probably fallen out of the meta for a good long time. If we are seeing tanks up in the top lane, like strict, like nothing but just resistance tank, frontline, beefiness, bouncer type of champions, we're probably seeing Scion. Maokai probably was one of my favorite tanks to have when it was the original Maokai ult, where anybody standing in a circle, you know, had negated damage. I very much like that more than the awkward tree Nami wave type of thing he's got going on. I don't like that very much. But Maokai versus Darius is a very, very scary matchup for the Maokai. I think Nair's is going to be able to bully Lee Saitama around a good amount this time around. Seeing the Doran shield actually coming out from Nairis, while we see 4 members of BB Clocks actually walking out through this top side, seeing if they can pick off anyone with this Leona Maokai. And here comes Fluke with the Mantra Q, landing on 2 of the members of BB Clocks, forcing them right back out of their jungle. We do see Minion Dematerializer on both mid laners, so both of them opting for the Inspiration. Perhaps the boots, or again, I can't check. It's 2019 and Riot won't let me check runes. I know I can check stats, like if I want to check Lucian's stats, I get like the little frame over here. Like, this is nice and all, but I like to see runes, man. I like to understand what, you know, different players are taking, what different players like to opt for, but Akuma Blades knows that they like to ward this river pretty early, so they're going to knock that ward out. It's going to be a good 10 gold over to Audio. And it's over! They got the gold lead. Devastating victory for Akuma Blades. Game 3, Silver Scrapes. Already in the mid lane, we're seeing Fluke taking a good amount of damage from the first Death Ray casted by Licenseless Rider of the game. So very strong in these early levels. It is shown to be. Seeing some really aggression in all the lanes, actually. Seeing Lee Saitama heal up with that Maokai passive. Conquer a Darius is something that he doesn't want to really get too close to in these early levels. He wants to just let the Darius push as far as he can. You know, just try to get the wave to crash under his tower. Not go for anything crazy. We do see that he did opt for Aftershock, though, as opposed to the Undying Grasp. Thereby also landing the first E of the game, so he can get the Q. And he does get the stun off on Sin of Wrath. A lot of damage coming up from BB Clogs very early on. It's level 2 advantage in the bot lane. Lucian being at about half health. And we do see that BB Clogs have done a good job of rushing this level 2 and getting a lot of that damage off on their opponents. And up in the top lane, we're seeing a little bit of wet noodles go back and forth. And Lee Saitama showing he's not too afraid of the Darius. He actually is willing to get up in his face, but having the health regeneration from the Doran shield is going to help Nairis not have to opt to pop the potion while one of the corrupting potion does tick on Lee Saitama. Thereby also going a little wide with the Zenith Blade. Not quite going to land on a Jurosa, but having thought it was going to land, he's going to use the W from his own to get a little bit back to safety. How many people are actually in here? I'm not sure how many are watching this game. There goes thereby also taking up a turret shot to get a lot of damage off on a Jaros, and the Ignite is going to be ticked as well, but a heal coming out from Sin of Wrath. Don't think it was really needed, but it does manage to keep Jarosa alive for the meantime. So, Summoner Spell's already being burned down here in the bot lane. Heal from the 80 carry of Akuma Blades with the Ignite going down from DB Clocks. So a lot of that kill pressure is down for the count. I would actually like to ask Jarosa why he did opt for Unsealed Spellbook the first game, but Guardian the second game around, and maybe that's why right there. Guardian proc as Leona goes in, helps him get the movement speed to get away, but we're seeing a potential 2v2. Here comes Urbai also, mixing names, your only chance. Not quite. But we do see both junglers up in the top lane, knowing that both Darius and Maokai are going aggressively on each other. Gravity Field from Licensed Rider isn't quite going to land, while the Monster Q from Fluke does. Still pretty even CS all across the board. Kai's having a little bit of a CS lead on Sin of Wrath, but to be expected as we saw last game. I'm not a huge fan of Spell Thief's Recon this game, because chances are if you're walking up close enough to be able to get that gold proc off, you're probably within Zenith Blade range. So you are within range of Leona able to engage on you if, you know, Kai'Sa does want to follow up, and it's a lot easier to once she actually does get level 6 and gets her ultimate and is able to pop in with any sort of crowd control that one of her teammates applies. It's a lot scarier of a combination for BB Clocks. You see Nyrus picking up a good pull on the Lee Saitama, and a good slow coming out from Audio, and he goes coming out as well just to make sure if he does run under tower they can finish him off. But first blood is going to be over to Nyrus on this Darius. Audio applying a good cheeky lane gank right there on the Lee Saitama. Lee Saitama having burned his flash as well, so he's going to have to teleport back to lane. Two members of Akuma Blades are picking up the turret plating. You see Sin of Wrath actually going very aggressive, having absolutely no mana left on the Lucian, though, dealing a lot of damage to the Kai'Sa Leona combo here in the bot lane. I have to turn off my chat again. I hate that this resets. If anyone is here and does happen to know, could someone tell me what Kai'Sa's ultimate ability is called? Because I'd just like to know. If it wouldn't be too much of a bother to anyone. Your only chance actually of picking up the first dragon of the game here at 6 minutes. A good Earth Dragon picked up. It does allow his teammates to pick off a lot of these turret plates a lot easier to pick up this good early gold for the first 14 minutes of the game. So having true damage to objectives, whether it is, you know, turrets, dragons, herald, baron, whatever it may be, it's good to have for the entirety of the game. Doesn't go away. You can't lose it once you have it. So otherwise, still very even. Just that first blood up in the top lane is really the only thing that BB Clocks have to worry about thus far. But Nyrus having the... excuse me, the phage finished off. Wow, how rude of me. Here comes Fluke, very speedy on the Karma, but oh my goodness, a good gravity field is actually going to land and get the stun off into Fluke, and he's going to have to flash heal away from the Ignite on Licensed Rider. He is going to live with a good amount of health and the Corrupting Pot ticking, but I'd say that's in favor of Licensed Rider for sure. 59 CS to the 46 in the Karma. Maybe about 52 or so once this wave crashes. Both mid laners are level 7. Teleport on the Victor has been, or excuse me, Ignite on the Victor has been used. Audio looking to go up to the top side while Licensed Rider is getting hit up with the Monster Q from the Delvey, getting rooted up. And here comes Audio, knocking up Licensed Rider, forcing him to flash over the wall. And Audio's going to get his ankles broken a little bit, but does not matter. Here comes the Winter's Embrace. Completely crowd controlling up Licensed Rider, and a kill is actually going to thereby also killing Fluke at the Ignite going down as well. Flash gonna have to be burned by that support to be able to pick up that kill, but it's a kill nonetheless. One to 2 in favor of Akuma Blades this time around. But it's still anybody's game. Gold is still just about even. Leona and Kai'Sa coming back down here to the bot lane, while Audio is going up to the top side of his map, clearing out a ward that had just been placed by Your Only Chance, and Trundle sneakily getting away on that plant. Good double knockup coming out from Jerosa. He's going to be able to fly back to Lucian while thereby also goes in. Just going to be a little bit of a trade back and forth. Sin of Wrath, having finished the Cutlass, does allow for a good amount of sustain compared to the Kai'Sa, who would finish that best friend sword. Looking to see if she can get that early Storm Razor. Both of the members from Akuma Blades doing a good job to walk up together. Get that pink ward out of the tri-brush. And Iris actually looking to bully your only chance here in his jungle, and here comes Audio to follow up, and is actually going to be able to burn a flash as Iris burns the ghost. Thereby also not quite going to finish off the... Oh, on a Jerosa. Jerosa is flying all up and down the lane. Heal coming out from Deep Focus is actually going to be able to keep his support just alive. And oh my god, there's fights going on all around, up and down the bot lane, and all around the map. Oh my goodness. So both supports are going to be falling down to the bot lane. Both Summers being burned by Jerosa, while Heal is going to be burned by Deep Focus. So 1-0 in each of the 80 carries. I keep yawning and I feel so very bad for it. So 4-2 actually, they're able to pick up what is now from a 200 gold lead to now a 1k gold lead. Here on the red side. Very good to see them picking up the momentum of this game. We do see Nyrus and Audio doing a good job of bullying your only chance out of his jungle a little bit. Picking up that flash will be pretty impactful, something to keep in mind. Trundle, he is unfortunately getting beaten down and slowed down by the likes of a Sejuani and a Karma and all else that comes with it. You know, he's doesn't really have too many options besides just limp away. You know, there's no gap closers. He does have the Trundle pillar to, you know, maybe, you know, put some distance between him and whatever threats he's having to go against, but he's not looking for, or excuse me, he's not worried about any threats of his own. Well, he's looking to see if he can make a play up to Nyrus. If Lee Saitama plays a little bit of aggressive, try to get a cheeky gank off through lane, and here it comes. The pillar is gonna, you know, block him off a little bit, and despite not having flash or ghost, Nyrus is just gonna be able to walk away from that encounter. But here comes Fluke, making a good double yet again. The Monster Cube isn't quite gonna land, but the Sejuani ult is. Lysis is Rider being very slow and very low on health, and he's just limping away ever so slowly. Sejuani W is gonna hit. Another auto from the red buff is going to be able to slow him down, and Fluke almost going down with greed as Lysis Rider, or 0-3 on the Victor, tries to take advantage of the loss of vision in the brush, but they already had it pinked, so they had vision, not going to be able to do anything about it. Here comes Audio, going to kill her up by the Trundle, but slowed down by the Karma. We do see Karma finishing off her last chapter in the Mercury Treads, and 2-0-1 in the Audio does allow him to get his Cinderhulk finish before the Trundle. So, meanwhile in the bot lane, we do see the Recurbo finish on Lucian while he's about to get Zenith Bladed, ulted up by Leona, and here comes the knockup by Jerosa as well. He's going to be able to shield back to his Lucian while Lucian Calling comes out and gets a lot of damage off on a deep focus, but it's just not going to be enough. 3 members of BB Clock are going to have to back off, maybe look towards his Cloud Dragon instead of trying to find a pick down here in the bot lane. What do you think about this game, other caster? Oh, well, I think both teams are playing pretty well right now. Yeah, I agree. I think Akuma Blades, though, do have the upper hand in this game. I think that they are executing this composition a lot better than they were the first time. We actually see Jerosa landing a lot more of his W's this game than we did last game. So he's applying pressure in this bot lane. We saw in that early 2v2 skirmish before the camera did pan up to the top side of the map while kills were going on up there as well. We saw that he was able to get a good engagement with his ult, was able to knock up, you know, E back to the Lucian, run back in, E back again. We saw Deep Focus, thought he almost had a kill onto the Jerosa. I guess Jerosa did end up dying and did go down to Deep Focus anyway, but him having used the... If I hover over an ultimate ability, would it tell me? Killer Instinct, awesome, I could have done that the whole time. So Kai'Sa coming in with the Killer Instinct to see if he can finish off Jerosa, you know, kind of broke his ankles a little bit when Jerosa just flew right back over closer to thereby also, but it's not really safe if the Leona can just stun you up anyway. So it was sneakily played. It was pretty well played, but still just not gonna be enough. Here comes thereby also actually having a very good stun onto Jerosa, lands and is able to get that 4th Kai'Sa proc from Deep Focus. 2-0 on this Kai'Sa is gonna have enough gold to finish off a Storm Razor now. It's gonna be Jerosa's 2nd death of the game. Very good stun up by thereby also. Very good play from this Leona coming out. 13 minutes, got about 1 more minute left in the turret plating. Lysis Rider going to burn his flash, and here comes Audio yet again. despite the victor roll coming out, it's going to be another kill here for the mid lane and jungle of Akuma Blades, knowing where to focus this time around. License is right being 9-1-9 in the victor last game. It's not going to really happen this game. We're already having 4 deaths, 13 minutes. Ugh. Yeah, throat's getting dry and I'm running out of water. I'm gonna have to maybe go for a water break during the intermission before game 3. Hahaha, scripted. Oh god. Otherwise, 450 gold bounties from Fluke and Audio. If it could be a little bit of a gold swing if BB Clocks do manage to, pick up those bounties off of those 2 members, but Lee Saitama is having to deal with 2 members of Akuma Blades and the Rift Herald, so a 3rd member all on his own. Here comes Fluke for good measure as well. A lot of crowd controls coming out from him, but too low on mana, not able to use any more abilities. Victor's actually going to be able to pick up that 450 gold shutdown that we talked about onto onto Audio, and he's going to pick up another kill on Fluke, so a double kill for Licensed Rider. Is it going to be a 3rd? Fluke doing a good job able to root up who he can from BB Clocks and able to apply the slow as well, so very well done. But still going to be 2 down on the side of Akuma Blades, with only 1 down being Lee Saitama, 0-2 on the Maokai. But keep in mind, it's still 14 minutes of the game, still very early. Still a lot of time for this Maokai to ramp up. You do see Trundle going for a full defensive build as well, having that Cinderhulk finish and another Ruby Crystal, just about equal with Audio. Has Cinderhulk finish, Mercury Treads, and a Cinderhulk. So tier 2 boots on the Sejuani as well as the Kindle Gem does allow for her to have the bonus tenacity and the extra cooldown, as well as health. You see an On My Way ping coming from the red side, might be a Jerosa. Looking to see if they can engage on the bot lane while Nyrus tries to walk down and make a play of his own, knowing that they have the top lane outer turret down. See if he can try to make some pressure around the map and see if we can get outer turrets elsewhere. No more turret plays to take though, and we see the rest of the 5 members of Akuma Blades hovering around the bot side of this map. Very, very scary. I'm not even sure if BB Clocks are aware of what's about to go down. Thereby also speedily walking away from that Tribrush, not looking to get in the mix of Nyrus and Jerosa as they clear out vision and try to set up for a 5-man siege. Maybe they are, though. Jerosa completely stunned up in a killing spree for her deep focus. 1 auto from the Stormrazor is all it's going to take. Another very good stun up engage by thereby also. But despite having 1 member on Akuma Blades fallen, you see the other 3 members seeing if they can take out this bot lane inner turret, while Licensed Rider applying his own pressure to Fluke in the mid lane. Lots of damage coming out from this Karma mid, though, having the Ludens finished, as well as the Dematerializer having a few left on each of them, or excuse me, a few left on Fluke, but not on Licenseless Rider. Thereby also looking to flex up with this Leona W activated, knowing he can stun up and engage anyone at any time, whoever decides to choose. Nyrus having no fear though. Black Cleaver finish on him, as well as Mercury, because he's able to negate a lot of these Leona stuns. Here comes a lot of that damage coming out from Fluke, and a Jerosa engage as well. Flies in with the Chronal. And it's actually going to be a lot of damage coming out with the Ignite from Ural, and Chance is going to be able to stay alive. Licensed Rider's on a killing spree, and Engage goes down to the bot lane as well. Instead of Wrath is going to be able to pick up a kill, and thereby also, as well as Nyrus picking up a kill onto thereby also. Second tower is going to, or excuse me, a 3rd tower for Akuma Blades as they pick up this bot lane inner tower. While the rest of the chaotic mess happens up in the top lane. Top lane inner tower has gone down, so pretty much an equal result on both sides. We do see though, BB Clocks, they do have the dragon advantage, having both the Earth Dragon and the Cloud Dragon, able to do Baron very efficiently, having the Stormrazor finish on the Kai'Sa. If she's able to get that Guinsos before Baron is able to spawn, that could be a very, very quick Baron for the side of BB Clocks. So Akuma Blades will have to be very, very careful with that. However, on the alternate side, though, if they do get a good engage off with the Sejuani and the Recon Ultimate, Jerosa is able to show that despite being 0-4, he's not afraid to make those plays happen, as we saw in the top lane. But he is dying a good amount. I really don't think the Spell Thief Savage was really what he should have been looking for. I don't think Coin would have negated the deaths that he had, but I don't think he's really wanted to get aggressive. But thereby also shows he loves aggression, even though he gets the original stun off on Fluke. He's not quite going to land the ultimate, so Fluke's going to be able to stay safe for the meantime. The minions crash under his tower. With Audio and Jerosa doing a good job to clear the vision they can. And those good vision wards down. Licensed Rider picking up the blue buff. From what we saw, even though it was a 0-4 Licensed Rider, we now see a 3-4 Victor. Picking up a good triple kill up in the top side, but here's Lee Saitama blind and looking in a little bit of a rough spot, but we'll see if the rest of the members can respond, being stunned up by both the Sejuani and the Rakan. Here comes Thereby also getting to engage of his own, and the Trundle Pillar is going to be able to negate Jerosa from walking back to his team. And here comes a ghosted Nyrus, even though he's rooted up by the Maokai ultimate. Going to get a good heal off with the Q, but he's looking very low. Licensed Rider's on a rampage, picking up a kill on Darius. Stun is actually going to land on Siderath, and here comes Killer Instinct. Defocus going deep into the backline and shut down. Picking up on Siderath, and another shutdown going over to Defocus, picking up from the Karma mid lane as they pick up their third dragon of the game, the second Earth Dragon, as Baron is spawning in a minute's time. BB Clocks, despite Akuma Blades having a little bit of an early lead, and was able to, for the most part, have a pretty secure, a lead. They had a lead, and they're throwing it. So 2k gold lead in favor of BB Clocks, where they have 12-9. They may see if they can get their third tower up in the bot lane, and maybe a fourth here in the mid lane as well. So gold swinging, swanging, back and forth. Ooh, having to take a water break. Whew. The water is gone though. Otherwise, we are seeing some items finish now. Now that all this chaotic mess is happening with the team fights and whatnot, we do see the... It's hard to see when it's on cooldown. We see the Knight's Vow coming out from the Trundle. And we see the Zeke's Convergence from the Leona. Gosh, I think Thereby also is maybe ulted maybe 4, 5, 6 times maybe already in this game. He's just constantly trying to get engages off and constantly make picks with this Leona. He's doing a great job getting most of his Zenith Blades off and picking off a lot of members of Akuma Blade, so having that Zeke's Convergence to help him out with these engages, like another one we're going to be seeing with Audio being stunned up, trying to get to the plant in time, and he is going to be able to get away. Thereby also in a little bit of a sticky situation, trying to sit on the gravity field to prevent anyone from trying to help him, and Licensed Rider getting stunned up by the Sejuani ult, which is going to be a very good skill shot landed by Audio, but it's not going to be enough. We're seeing Deep Focus with a killing spree, being able to kill Siderath, and here comes Jerosa, charming up who he can, but it's really not going to do too much, and Nyrus on a little bit of the awkward side is going to pick up a good 950 gold shutdown on the Licensed Rider, and thereby also getting another good stun on the Jerosa. Quadra kill coming out from Deep Focus, 9-1 of the Kai'Sa, thereby also setting up so many very good plays, as well as both Your Only Chance and Lee Saitama being the very scary frontliners of this team, showing that top and tank jungles are so very easy to help your tank, or excuse me, not your tank, your carry, be able to sit in the backline and deal a tremendous amount of damage. 16-10, 3 dragons, 4 turrets inside of BB Clocks. A good lead coming out for him. And here comes Deep Focus, not having a lot of mana, but slow from the red buff is going to allow him to be godlike, taking down Fluke and this Baron as well. Even though Akuma Blades did have this lead a little bit earlier on in the game, BB Clocks took it right back from them, and they're running with it. 10-1 on this Kai'Sa. Deep Focus having a massive amount of impact in this series thus far. 1,000 gold bounty though. If Akuma Blades are able to pick that up, that could be a good amount of gold swinging back in their favor, but we do see a 5k gold lead for the side. BB Clocks. It's going to take a lot for them to get back into this game, but it still happens. Let's see what both Akuma Blades and BB Clocks decide their next move is. Do you see the Warmog's finish for the for Audio on the Sejuani, as well as another giant spell, so he has a lot of health. Very, very tanky front line. Nyrus has been in a lot of really awkward spots in these team fights. He's seems to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was able to pick up a good... I want to learn these ability names. Noxian Guillotine. Nice. Off on the Licensed Rider, who was low enough to get executed by it, but he wasn't able to, utilize the reset of Darius ult. He was, pretty much had fallen just about right after he did cast that Noxian Guillotine. So, wasn't able to pick up too much with it, besides getting the tremendous amount of gold from Licensed Rider Shutdown. Maybe he's able to do the same thing if Deep Focus steps out of line a bit. Your Only Chance taking out a chump out of Audios, trying to look for his rates, and Luke getting cut off by the Trundle Pillar a little bit. I really do think, though, if they want this game to go their way, we do need to see another good Jerosa and Audio engage. We really need to see this Kai'Sa picked off. That's going to be your winning condition. If, that's the major disadvantage of having, these really tanky front lines. You have a tank top, tank jungle, tank support, if you take out the mid or 80 carry, that is one of the 2 major damage sources just completely gone from the fight. So you need to find it, but thereby also, he's going to find Jerosa yet again, getting stunned up, and a Trundle Pillar is going to be able to block him off, but he is going to be able to get away, getting rooted up by the Maokai ult, and he's still going to be able to survive somewhat. But Audio looking very low, he's going to be able to heal up with this Warmog's armor, but still so very scary, so much damage coming out from the side of BB Clocks. Licenses Rider, who they applied a lot of the pressure to very early on, being 5-5, coming back from the 0-5 that he was. Fluke picking up a kill from thereby also after taking one too many turret shots. So they may have to back off of it, knowing it's a numbers game with Dragon being up. They're going to send 4 members of BB Clocks to the last one dead. And Fountain just to go take that Earth Dragon instead. This is actually going to be the 3rd Earth Dragon for BB Clocks. No dragons. Besides maybe that Cloud Dragon I believe we saw in Game 1 from Akuma Blades, but otherwise every single dragon has been secured by Your Only Chance. So very good neutral objective control by the side of BB Clocks. We do see a lot of these fights going back and forth. We do see thereby also is able to set up so many of these plays. It's just an absolute monster when it comes to being the one to say, all right, team, let's go. And, you know, I got Jerosa stunned up. I got, you know, whoever's stunned up. So very, you know, shows that he is very aggressive on this Leona, and not just no-brain aggressive, but he shows that he is thinking what fights he wants to take and which ones he does not. You see perfect Hex Core on the Victor, as well as the Morella Nomicon finish, working on that Lichbane, having that Sheen finish, but we do see the 3-item Kai'Sa, having that Guinso's Runon Stormrazor, as well as the Zonia's Hourglass, or the Seeker's Arm Guard coming out from her as well, with the only items coming out from Sin of Wrath being the Blade of the Ruin King, and what is looking like to be a finished Black Cleaver as soon as he finishes his recall. Maybe. It is actually not. He still doesn't have too much gold for it. Can't remember the shortcut key for showing gold. Am I blind? Ah, X. Nice. Okay. So now he does have it. He does have the 950 gold from the bot lane that he was able to finish off for that Black Cleaver. It's a very, very big difference when it comes to dealing with the Maokai Trundle. Being able to shred their armor, being able to have a lot of that early cooldown reduction does allow you to have your dash back up more often. Otherwise, we're not really seeing Nyrus do too much on this Darius. He was able to apply a good amount of pressure on the Lee Saitama early on, but Lee Saitama still only died 2 times despite how much jungle pressure was put up there on the top side. But looking at the dragons from BB Clocks, having 4 dragons, 3 of them being Earth, it's just such a big difference having those neutral objectives under your belt. Doesn't matter how much gold you're down or how many towers or anything like that, you have those dragon buffs for the rest of the game. Once Elder Dragon comes around as well, you're just having a much stronger Elder Dragon, or depending on how many dragons you were able to pick up throughout the game. So otherwise, we do see Deep Focus walking around with his big boy bouncers. Your only chance, and thereby also, is they clear out vision to look for this inner bot lane turret, maybe looking for a total bot lane siege. Baron coming up in about 45 seconds and wanting to take the members of Akuma Blades away from that side of the map. Inner turret is going to go down while Maokai Ultimate is popped. Fluke, a good flash coming out to avoid that Leona ult. Certain death would have followed up from it. And here comes Nyrus ghosting in and trying to pick off, thereby also looking very low in his zone. 3-man knockup coming up from Jerosa, and the good charm is actually going to be able to allow Nyrus to get a kill on it, thereby also Gravity Field doing a good job to zone a lot of the members of BB Clocks, or excuse me, Akuma Blades off. 5 stacks are actually going to be applied to Licenses Riders. He flashes away. So very scary of this I can't not say Nyrus. 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 Try hard. Come on, bruh. Nyrus. With an N. So again, there's this common theme where thereby also looks for a pick. It's avoided by Akuma Blades. And then he kind of just sits around a little bit of a greedy spot because he's like, well, you know, I don't know what to do now. My engage tool is down, and then he just ends up dying to Akuma Blades. We're able to pick up a good kill off of him. It did cost both the Ghost and the Ignite of Dyrus. Ignite the Flash, I should say. Otherwise, we do see the Lichbane finish on the Victor. So very strong. 5-5 on this Victor. Does not have his tier 2 boots yet, but he does, again, Lichbane, perfect hex for Morella Nomicon, while we do see the Ludens, Morella Nomicon, the Blastalon over on the side of the Karma mid lane for Fluke. Deep Focus, though, shredding this Baron with the triple Earth Dragon, but Still so very scary. They don't want to go for this 50-50 smite. Lee Saitama now having his tank items finished, both being the Spear Visitor, the Sunfire, as well as a Giant's Belt. So hard for him to die. Simply put, especially given the resistances from the Aftershock as well, just allows him to be such a very scary tank threat for Akuma Blades to have to deal with. It is nice to have the Lucian, the Blade of the Ruin King, and Black Cleaver to help shred him down, but if he gets pushed out from these fights, if he gets Leona stunned up, and one Death Ray pretty much can take out a lot of his health bar. You know, he may be able to go a bit more aggressive and run, forward if he is given the shields by both Rosa and Fluke, but otherwise they have to play this game very carefully. Still 6k gold down. No inhibs being taken. We do see Dragon coming up in about 10 seconds, the Baron being up as well. If one team opts for the other, we could see a little bit of a objective swap going on. If Akuma Blades decides to go for Dragon, it could result in a Baron for BB Clocks. And if BB Clocks decide to go for Dragon, Akuma Blades could look to start Baron, but I don't think Akuma Blades have the ability to shred a Baron as fast as BB Clocks can, but here we go, we're seeing it started up. This might be a 50-50 smite fight. Monster Q is not going to do a lot of damage, and we're seeing the blue team, BB Clocks, are being able to secure this Baron. Drosa, a good knock-up on the Licensed Rider and a stun-up as well, but your only chance is going to be able to finish him off. While Killer Instinct from Deep Focus is going to go on a Sin of Wrath, and Sin of Wrath is going to look to flash right next to Licensed Rider. Is going to finish him off, and a double kill for Licensed Rider, with the rest of the members, the only one being down, being thereby also, and Fluke taking up turret shots and is actually going to be able to survive. Lee Saitama's on the hunt, though. Is he going to find him? Knows he's recalling. Oh, finds him. Flash is coming out. The vision is actually going to be revealed by that sapling, and an ace coming out from BB Clocks. Walking down mid lane, they are able to get this inhib, and with Baron up, they may just be able to end this game. Here they come with only one being up, Jerosa, and the only one coming up in about 5 seconds is Lucian. Teleport coming out from Lee Saitama tells me that this is game 2-0 victory. Another very dominating victory by BB Clocks. A Licensed Rider picked up the last kill on a Jerosa. He was 0-8 on this Rakan. And there is a victory. 2-0. Great victory decided by BB Clocks. Very good series to watch. Again, no cookies have been won for this game. This is the second channel. We don't get such luxuries, but here are the scores for just about everybody. We got 11-1 Deep Focus, very, very strong. We saw he was very dominating in both the Kai'Sa and the Caitlyn. And we see Licensed Rider, despite being so very focused from the jungle pressure and dying. Again, 0-4. From going 0-4 to 8-5-7, that is very impressive. So we saw Nyrus doing a little bit better that game on I almost said on Darius. Getting a little confusing, but otherwise, take a look at the damage here. Here are the damage charts. We're seeing a lot of damage. Wow, so much damage on Karma mid. Fluke dealing 31,000. Despite Licensed Rider looking like the more scary factor, having the 26,000 and the 11-1 Kai'Sa only having dealt 22,000. A lot of damage coming out from him, but everywhere else is pretty lacking. So, it's not really, if you're going to have that support mid lane, you got to have the players to, you got to have players to support. You can't really pick a support mid laner if everyone else is going to be shit in the bed. So, otherwise, very good series. 2-0 victory for the side of BB Clocks. As far as I know, I'm going to go check it real quick. I don't want to direct you guys to, just absolutely nothing. And it does look like it is still up. So, this series is going to be ended. So, again, 2-0 victory on the side of BB Clocks. If you guys want to head over to the primary channel, that is the series going on, being casted by both Koas and Nate. It is actually Free Tyler 1 and Wasted Potential. If you want to go watch that, I believe Game 1 is still going on. So, this series is finished. Look at damage and healing done, Mr. Casterman. I can do so, absolutely. So here's damage dealt. You're wanting me to look for healing, huh? I can give you the healing. Healing done. What? What? What is this? What's this? Ooh, what's this? 25,000 healing coming out from Trundle. That is... Don't tell me to look at that next time. I could have went my entire life without seeing that. I'm used to looking at this. Here, we'll look at I actually like damage taken, so that's pretty good. A lot of damage being taken by that Trundle, who I get, actually, he took just as much damage as he healed, almost. So that's actually very impressive, showing the utility of that pick. And then self-mitigated damage is also nice, because I guess the same as damage taken. That's a lot of tank being shown there. Vision score. Despite dying a lot, Jurosa actually did manage a significantly better vision score than anybody else in the game, so well done to Jurosa. But yeah, so guys, this is over. Head out of here. If you want to hear my voice some more, you can follow me at twitch.tv/LifeStudio. I'm going to give myself the shameless little plug. And yeah, so I'm done. Again, this was the series of BB Clocks versus Akuma Blades 2-0 victory on the side of BB Clocks. So head over to the primary channel where you can see Free Tyler 1 face off against Wasted Potential. So thank you so very much for watching me if you had decided to do so. And yeah, otherwise have a great rest of your night, SFL viewers. And until next time, this is LifeStudio signing off.